whenever I see you doing the little thing on the phone.
Yeah, hoop
the
grids.
grid.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way I could do that.
Yeah.
Like, my answer would be like 100%. Like, this dude's dropping.
Gotta get the insane pulls.
What's up, everybody? I'm Lindy Waters III. I'm a member of the Kiowa and Cherokee Nation. I play basketball currently for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I got this little brand called Press On. Welcome to the Press On podcast. The reason why I started this podcast is to give the platform to the people around me that I love, but also inspire me. First guest we got here, Cooper Clark, my best friend, my brother. I've known him pretty much my whole life. Been through everything together. Man, this is a dream for sure.
No doubt, man. Been talking about it for a while, so probably good to get it rolling.
For sure. It's I have been talking about it for a while. A dream that just kind of manifested itself.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was gonna be a brand like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing after another, just slowly building brick by brick, and now,
Press on, baby. Here we are.
But how long have we known each other?
You were...
When did we first meet?
7, I was 8. So, second and third grade for you. So,
I thought I was in first grade.
No,
I wasn't?
No, I didn't start playing basketball till third grade.
Yeah, first grade. Yeah.
So 7 and 8. So this has been 20. Dang, this is year 20.
Yep, year 20. Yeah, OGs.
Yeah. No, I didn't get to play basketball until third grade. My dad wanted me to start with baseball. I did t-ball, machine pitch, and he didn't want me to have any contact sports. So
yeah.
But that year was like 03, 04. So it was the year the Lakers lost in finals to Pistons. Right.
Did you watch a lot of basketball?
Yeah, as a kid, I was just either watching basketball, watching the Yankees was my first love for some reason. Derek Jeter. That's why I still like the Yankees. But yeah, watching the Lakers three-peat. Can only vividly remember like the last two. Then the Spurs won in 03. And then in 03, 04, the Pistons, with the Spurs. So after that, I was just so annoying to my dad about basketball. I'm like, man, can I play? So that year, finally let me do junior jammers. And I think we signed late or something. And y'all were looking for a player or something like that. And all of the guys were your age.
Yeah.
And so y'all had to play up that year.
It's funny, the teams that you like the Yankees, the Lakers,
Duke,
and
the Jets are kind of outliers.
Yeah,
right?
they are. I was like the opposite. I like Boston Red Sox. Celtics. I like the Boston Celtics.
And the Cowboys.
Yeah, Dallas Cowboys. So it's just funny. We always had like opposite team interests.
Yeah. It was completely not, I don't want to say justifiable reasons, but just completely random that we would both like those teams like that, and only because players or they were honestly having success at the time.
Yeah.
I only like Duke because JJ Redick.
Yeah.
And
Coach K.
Yeah. Like that was the only, I had no reason to pick Duke. My dad was a huge Carolina fan, so he hated that, but yeah.
So we started playing junior jammers. That was fun, honestly. I mean, I still got like old clips of us playing. We weren't the best. It was just like you scoring all the layups, and then I'd hit a couple of layups, and it was just watching you just like dominate, like growing up. But yeah, we became close. I remember the first time you came and spent the night. I lived out in the country.
Yeah, that was a horrible night for me.
Yeah.
I hated it.
I could only imagine. I didn't like sleeping out there either. It was dark. There was random animals that pop up right in front of the door. There was insane spiders and scorpions, and like I'm not a bug guy.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how hard it was for you to show up in the country.
Your dad made us sleep out there in the living room, not in your bedroom for some odd reason, but had to make a pallet down in the den. And I mean, just looking out directly into your driveway where it was just pitch black darkness and the motion lights would come on.
Yeah.
And so every 5 minutes, I'm like glancing or flinching because the lights going. I'm like, what is going on out there? To be honest, I think I slept an hour that night, if that.
Yeah.
I got up in the middle of the night, went to the bathroom and hung out in the bathroom for like 30 minutes because I was so freaking scared.
Yeah. I mean, everybody that came out there the first night, they usually like ended up going home in the middle of the night.
Oh, bro. If I would have had my phone, if I would have had a phone, I didn't have a phone then, but I would have called my mom like, please.
Yeah. We had a wall phone. You remember that wooden one?
Yeah.
So I would wake up in the middle of the night like, oh, my friend's gone. And I like go try to find them and they'll be on the phone.
That's
like calling their parents.
Man, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So glad you stuck it out.
I was about to say, I'm probably the first one that stayed the full night. But
yeah.
After that, dude, couldn't get enough of going out there. I know it was kind of a long drive. Oddly enough, we lived on the same side of town, but it's like a 15-minute drive. And my mom or dad would be pissed if I asked. I'm sure you never knew that, but like every time I asked, I'm like, can I go stay at Trey's? They're like, why? I'm like, I don't know. I just like hanging out with them.
Yeah.
And so they'd be like, yes, I gotta go up and down the hills, all the way down there. And so
I try to get dad to come scoop you on the way home from work.
Yep. He did a couple. He probably did more than a handful of times.
Yeah.
But that was that. And I really enjoyed going to OU just to like be at your dad's work when he worked there and be in the, what was it? Cultural, was it cultural? I forget.
Like the student
affairs. Yeah. Student affairs office.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. And I always remember Christmas time going up there for some reason, like having a Christmas party or like getting cookies up there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever brought that up, but I sincerely enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was fun. We used to hoop in the office and like
be loud.
I think everybody liked it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we were young. We didn't understand what work really was at the time. Like, we would just show up and have the little mini hoop on the outside of my dad's office. And then there's just like a big room. And there's like different offices of like different ethnicity groups. Yeah. And we would just be in there like just hooping, playing ones and stuff. And like
loud,
they just liked
disrupting work. But
they just liked it. Yeah. And we played computer games. We'd walk down to the Union. We'd walk around, and that was a fun time. Yeah. I wish we walked around a little more around the campus. Like
I know. We only stayed in that building, which honestly leading down to the like going to get Wendy's or what else was down. I don't know. It doesn't look as good anymore, but
yeah.
Crossroads.
Yeah.
Walked around like a little more and not been so, I don't want to say
childish,
shy, but yeah,
just childish,
just tweaking around.
I remember we played basketball together pretty much growing up until like late middle school and then high school.
Man, I think honestly it was your 6th grade year, my 7th grade year that we made that. Our dads made that decision. My dad made that decision. So it was after we played at Piedmont and that the blue tile gym, the unsafe freaking place out there. We played the Running Rebels and we lost.
Yeah.
And my dad was kind of looking at that game, and that was on film. I didn't even play good, but my dad was kind of looking at the game. He said, "You're not getting any better." I'm like, "We lost. Like we'd lose like once a month. Maybe that.
Yeah.
But we lost that game." And he talked to Coach Kurt after that. I think the next year I went and joined that team, and so but I mean we played from my 3rd grade year all the way to my 7th grade year. Same team, Mayu, Marcus, like the core. Walker. But that core first group was like me, you, Trey. We lasted until 5th, 6th, 7th grade.
Yeah.
And we added pieces, Stefan.
Yeah. We'd find talent. We'd go play and
Mason,
then
Harold.
We'd find one good person on the team.
Start picking and poaching people.
Yeah. We was recruiting at a young age for sure.
Yeah.
And then we played baseball one year.
Last year.
It was the Yankees.
Yeah. I think that was one of the last years. My 6th grade year, your 5th grade, we played on the Yankees. And I played football that year.
Was that 5th grade?
That was your 5th, my 6th. So I was going into 6th. You were going into 5th.
Okay.
I only say that because I know that was my one year I could play football, and my dad did not. He was scared. He's like, you got to play quarterback. In my first game, we played against Toby Keith's team, Steelan, Cobell's team.
Yeah.
We played them, and I played linebacker, and I tried to tackle somebody, and I went high, and he went low. I was out, bro.
They put you at linebacker?
Linebacker.
I thought it was like you could only play quarterback.
I only played linebacker the first game. Like, I didn't ask. So after that game, we lost 0-6. My dad, like, I wouldn't ask, but I'm like, I can throw better than whoever our quarterback was.
Yeah.
He was like, just go ask. I'm not asking. So he went and asked, and I went through like 2 routes after practice. He was like, all right, you can be quarterback. And we lost the first 2 games, and we won 7 in a row. And truth be told, we lost our last game on purpose of the regular season.
For what?
To get a better seed. So we played Caleb Wilson's
Caleb
team.
Wilson, yeah.
The Cowboys.
They was nice.
They were freaking.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 6th grade, and they were running like jet sweep, motion. I'm like.
His dad was a actual football coach and player, so they had a whole system, legit gear. Like,
oh, bro, it was
intimidating.
Yeah, it was very intimidating. And we didn't see him. We just heard like they're undefeated. Like we just keep hearing the rumblings about him. And so last game of the year. My coach is like, hey, we're gonna lose. Don't make it look too obvious, but like lose. And so we ran an option. My first play, I had it. Faded to the fullback, and I'm going for an option, and it wasn't Caleb, but somebody else shot through the gap. Like, they knew I was pitching it to Darius because that's what I always did. Mm-hmm. And I just, like, threw it to him. And we were at our own 10, so he just walked in the end zone. And we ended up losing, like, 31-0.
Yeah, like, don't make it too obvious.
Yeah. And so I think I could sub myself out. I don't know what quarter, but I stopped playing.
Yeah.
So that next first round of playoffs we get Longfellow, fine.
Yeah.
And then another Whittier team. They are good. It was Bryce Bayless, Carson, and Eric Hughes.
Yeah.
And we beat them. I mean, we beat them. They beat us like we split during the year, and then we beat the heck out of them. So then when 6th grade championship game comes, we're up 20-0.
Yeah.
Like, all because we just tanked in the regular season, you know?
Yeah, because Caleb's team ended up losing, was it semifinals?
No, we played them in championship game.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and we jumped down on them 20-0.
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny. But, yeah, and the only reason I got to play is because I begged my dad, like, hey, it's my last year from middle school. Let me play basketball, baseball, football. Mm-hmm. And we won the city championship in all 3.
Yeah. Baseball was fun.
I know.
Baseball was really fun.
I should have stuck with it.
Me too. Me too, honestly. Even though it was a slow pace and like my I just couldn't stay focused for that long. Yep. Just standing there and like might not get a hit, but now it's like with load management, like it's light. So we got to high school, went to different high schools, rivalry, T-Wolves. And we got some Tigers in here. Different kind of Tigers.
They do, maybe, got 3 Tigers.
But you guys got Norman North, me, one time for our first game.
Yep.
And then you didn't see the day of light.
Win another game against Norman North. My whole high school career.
Yeah.
And we actually, being a coach there now, like, we didn't beat them for another 10 years. 2013, or it was actually 2012 because it was the game before Christmas break.
Yeah.
So it was December 2012.
Yeah.
And we beat them December 2022.
Damn, 10 years of loss.
10 years. Couldn't beat them
at
home, away. Bishop McGinnis tournament. They also played them. Couldn't beat them. Yeah. It was just a huge run of success by Norman North as far as player-wise. I mean, just honestly better players.
Yeah.
JJ, Juwan, all of them. They were just good. Jeremiah Johnson, KO transfers there. Like they had a good stretch, man. They were great.
Yeah. We were supposed to go to Norman High.
Yeah. I always bring up that
yeah.
Facebook post that you
yeah, we was all supposed to go to Norman High. Me, Trey, Marcus, Coop, Caleb Wilson, Anybody on those teams, like with Coach West coaching, we were supposed to run a state 4 years straight.
Yep.
So that was like a mindset. And then Norma High, they made the worst decision possible because that whole 10 years of loss could have been completely opposite.
I know, absolutely.
And I love that gym. I love going there, shooting killer shots, shooting free throws as kids. Like we used to practice, and that was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun. Go to Norma High games,
yeah,
run around upstairs, and like
not watch the game at all, but just be at the gym.
We'd sit out there for a little bit, and then we go do something, and then we come back and sit behind the games. But watching guys like Terrence Boyd, that was fun.
Broyles, I mean, they were really good during that stretch with my dad. Is probably first 6 years they were super duper successful.
Yeah,
they bought in and they were tough minded. That was fun. So that was fun basketball to watch.
Yeah,
there's the last couple of years they were, still had good players, but just couldn't put it together. But yeah, no, I enjoyed that time. It was great. Really hopeful that y'all would have still come to Norman High, but I understand the coaching is it makes a whole lot of difference who you play for.
Yeah, especially
now. I say the culture is different, kids are different, people are different. Had my dad been the coach, obviously, there's success that happens just because of the belief that he's a good coach, or the belief that he's a good guy, and we'd love to like play for him.
Yeah. So we go through high school. We ended up playing. So we didn't really hang out with each other from like 7th grade till what, sophomore year?
Probably 10th grade. Yeah, my 10th grade.
9th, 10th year?
Your freshman year.
Yeah. Because there was just a little bit of like awkwardness from whenever you went and played with the Running Rebels, and then I stayed with the Runners, played with Athletes First. And, you know, we were playing up, but you were playing your age for the most part.
Yeah.
So, and we were getting better. So, I mean, I kind of agree with Wes. Like, playing against older competition makes you better.
Yeah.
And so I completely understand, but
obviously that caused a little bit.
It was tough because like we were so close and we spent so much time together, and we did like almost everything together for probably 5 or 6 straight years.
Yeah.
And then just kind of like cut off. I didn't know what was really going on. It was just like, yeah, Coop's not gonna play with us anymore, and dude, I was like, man, life sucks. Like.
You thought that was my decision too.
I thought it was.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, but
I tried to text you and you were a dick.
Yeah. I mean, I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I was just like, man, like I'm hurting.
Yeah. I didn't even. The thing is, like, I had no idea the decision was made either. Me and my dad had a discussion about it. Whenever, like, whatever age it was, he was like, "Do you think you're getting any better?" And I probably said no. Like, I probably said I don't know.
We always said what our dads wanted to hear.
I was like, no, probably not.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, we're gonna move to this team. Okay. So then I obviously try to reach out and communicate, like, hey, I didn't make this decision. My dad did. I don't know, remember what you said, but I'm like, okay, well, we're at odds ends right here. We really can't communicate. So yeah, that was a weird.
When did I think I had like messaged you on Facebook in like 9th grade. Yeah. Just like randomly. I was like, because whenever we played each other, it was like respect, like what's up, like I miss you. Like, I haven't seen your ass in years, bro. Like I messaged you on Facebook and was like, hey, you want to come over?
Yeah, I think that was it.
Hang out. And you're like, yeah, you came over, and my dad was happy.
Was he?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Because I told him, I was like, hey, I think Coop's gonna come over, and he was like, Cooper Clark, like.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I think so. I'm not sure how it's gonna go, but like, you know, I don't think it could be bad.
You want me to come over and just immediate beef?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then we played on the Wizards together.
Yeah, after that year,
not my freshman year.
Yeah,
sophomore year.
You were Wizards still though. Mm-hmm. So that year,
shout out Hudebergs. Shout out to
David Hudeberg.
Yeah,
and Coach G.
Yeah,
Coach Ham,
Andrew,
Sully, bro, all of them. Drew. That was easily the best time of AAU basketball
for sure.
From like start to finish, like such an enjoyable time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that me going in my junior year, I'd play with Athletes First for one EYBL session, and I played 10 minutes total in like 4 games. Played with Shake Milton, Alonzo Trier.
Yeah.
Like, those guys. Fun guys to hang out with, but like, I mean, dude, there was NBA talent on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I saw we played Indies Peace Heat. Caleb Swanigan.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Tyus Jones' team. I forget the name, but I'm watching Tyus Jones and Reed Travis working the pick and roll. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to the NBA. Like,
Yeah.
I'm seeing this, and I'm not even playing that much. Like, I'm not even getting any burn to get any better. So then I came to the Wizards, played up that year. I played on the 17s with Brett, Steven Edwards, Trip Fuller, Big Baby. Like,
Big Baby.
It was fun. And so I wanted to come back that next year. And truth be told, I didn't think that group that we played with would accept me.
Yeah.
It was Coop, Batiste, Terrell, Ham, Geoff. Who else? I mean, that was like the core four. Caleb Norris. Like, that was like the core four there.
Mm-hmm.
Or core five. And I'm like, I don't even think they want to play with me, or like, I want to be like with them. They might not accept me, but seamless, like, smooth transition. And then adding you to the group was, it was fun to like get back to play with you in the summer again, which had been, that was my last summer to play.
Mm-hmm.
So it had been since the age of 12 to 17. So I hadn't played basketball with you for 5 whole years.
Yeah.
So that was honestly probably my most fun summer.
For sure. Me too.
And enjoyable. I know your next summer was ginormous as far as production.
Mm-hmm.
College is coming to reach out to you, but I know you guys played on Adidas too. So
yeah,
better talent there. But I probably can attest for you too. As that summer was awesome.
Yeah, my dude, I tell everybody that.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, my sophomore year playing with you and that team, like, all those trips was fun. Like, everybody just like meshed together, and whenever they talk about like the Thunder this past year, like, you guys are a real AAU team, like, like, it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like, all the trips, like, everybody cracking jokes. One time we went to Dick's Sporting Goods and we all bought headbands. And we made everybody wear headbands for a tournament.
Yeah.
And that was just like, it was funny because we had like Big Baby and like Geoff and everybody just wearing a headband.
Sean, I forgot about JT.
Yeah, everybody had a headband on for no reason. Like, but it brought us closer, and we won a lot more games than people would have thought.
I think that record, and you can probably look it up, but it was one of the last tweets on Oklahoma Wizards account. Our group was like 43-16, 43-19 in the summer. Beat some good teams. Played in the in the AAU
Nationals. Yeah,
I think we ended up getting 14th, which is pretty. We played Boo Williams and Bam.
Yeah,
that was.
That was before I didn't know anybody.
Before Bam
I just
was Bam,
know, like,
but he was killing Big Baby, and I'm like, okay, this dude's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
So
I got him back the next year. I mean, we didn't win, but after you left, it was kind of like, all right, like, you can still have fun, but it's time to get a little more serious.
Yeah.
I think that was a bit partially because I knew I had a little bit of time.
Yep. Oh yeah.
But I also didn't know, like, I wasn't like, oh, I need to go score 30 to get looks or whatever. Like, I just played my game and, went off in Indianapolis. And,
he did.
Like, phone started ringing, and I was like, this is fun. Seeing, like, Roy Williams, like, sit there, and I'm, like, looking at the other team, like, who are they watching?
Yeah.
Like, none of those guys are good.
Better than me. Yeah.
And, like, if they're watching us, like, who on our team? I start, like, making judgments and stuff, like, during the game. But then I remember going to your signing at Norma High.
Yeah, got pictures of that.
Yeah.
Which is weird that you showed up.
I mean,
early in the morning in April.
Yeah.
And you just skipped school, which I mean, it's a a kind gesture. And I didn't come to yours. You were in obviously Sunrise, but
I was in Wichita.
Yeah.
Or somewhere up there, like Kansas,
I have
like
no idea where
Missouri,
it's
maybe.
Yeah,
I don't
Kansas,
know. It was kind of. I mean, I had to do it.
Yeah.
With the situation I was in.
Yep.
Just try to get that, like, out of the way and move on. But I just try to support you.
Yeah,
in
no, I appreciate it. It was awesome.
any
When you
which
walked
way.
in, I
Like
was
Tommy was there too.
bro,
Yeah,
that's my guy. I love Tommy. I
yeah.
haven't seen him in a long time.
And then you went to UCO.
Yeah, man.
Tell me about like your experience there, because I know it was rocky.
Oh yeah, it was different. So, and actually, me and Josh, we signed for Coach Evans, and man, I signed late. I think Josh signed late too. To be honest, he was getting recruited by different schools, and we both made a decision like pretty late. And Coach Evans puts us in a group text. Probably late May. He says, "Hey, I got a decision, or I got big news coming tomorrow." We're like, I didn't know what to think of it. I thought honestly there was
Like
another
good
person
news?
like signing. Yeah, I'm like, man, I wonder who's signing. And he announces he's resigning. I'm like, oh my God. And so me and Josh are already like playing the game together, doing like all this paperwork together. We're talking like normal. And he asked I think he asked me if I was staying. And I was like, man, I'll see who the new coach is. I'll probably stay anyways. And honestly, Nebraska Kearney reached out to me as soon as Coach Evans left. I was too far away from me, but I would have fit in perfectly for what they did.
Like systematically.
Oh, dude, yeah, they played like 3, 6, 7 bigs and 2 guards that like you shoot. Like no offense to them, but they did not try to play defense too hard. They just try to outscore you. Great system. I think the coach there was a great offensive coach, but he recruited guys to score. They had professional basketball players to score the ball.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, from there, we both decided to stay, move in together. My first year, redshirted.
Y'all lived together first year?
Yeah, we did. We lived in an off-campus apartment, which I guess is way different now. Our NLI papers that we signed, you signed for off-campus housing. So it was me and him, a guy that was in a fraternity, and then a guy that was in a rock band. It was a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom apartment. First time I've ever had my own bathroom in my life. But I'll tell you, that was one of the weirdest years of my life. Redshirting, not playing. That's the first time I haven't played basketball in like a full year and since I've been 7 or 6. So got to find myself a little bit that year. But
Was that your decision? The red shirt?
No and yes. He basically said, like, Coop, you're probably not going to play at all this year. If you do, it's because of injury. And we had some injuries, but, I think it was in my best interest. He said, put on 15 pounds, learn how to, move in college. It's a different speed, whether you like it or not. And I thought I was fast. But, it was really beneficial, like, after the fact. And I think more kids need to take that approach to that. Like, hey, you might be really good in high school, like really, really good.
The guy.
But the speed is, everybody's the guy when you, like, everybody was that guy in high school when they get to college. So it's about those that make the adjustments quick enough. So that year was an adjustment year, but it was good. And I think from that year, getting to be a freshman the next year, I think you played you didn't redshirt, you played your freshman
I played
year.
my first year.
So we got back on the same timeline.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, we both played the same years. Like,
right.
again, we were, not again, but like we got on the same track for the first time in our lives. You weren't playing up. We were both at the same level. So I thought that was cool. Kind of poetic. But yeah, then on, like, I was really happy I got to play 15 minutes a game my freshman year. Felt like I was productive. Shot like 47% from 3. We were at the what seed were we? We hosted a play-in game to go to the conference tournament, so we had to be the higher seed. I think we were 7 seed. 7. We won 7-10 game, and then we went up to Kansas City and lost to Central Missouri in the first round or second round. Yeah, I mean, just the next year had some success. I didn't get to play that much. We had a way better team than next year. And then just like throughout the time at UCO, getting to, be closer to the coaching staff and understand like the ins and outs. Like I already wanted to be a coach, but getting the ins and outs of like what goes into a scout, what goes into recruiting, what goes into like their game plan, or like just their thought process. It's really interesting. I really enjoyed Coach Hankins from a perspective of like getting coached hard.
Yeah.
That dude, I mean, he's doing well right now with the Mad Ants. I think he just got like G League Coach of the Year.
Really?
I might be wrong, or he coached the All-Star game, one of those two. But you know, I've never had a coach that was on my butt about everything, like, and I needed that. I honestly needed it. Some guys don't like it, but I needed it to be a better player, to understand, like, hey, I'm not working hard enough. And I always tell this story. I think it's hilarious. He called my dad in the middle of summer because I went home to do a construction job because I needed money. He called my dad and told him I wasn't working hard enough. But he left a voicemail. And so my dad was luckily taking a nap. He left him a voicemail saying I wasn't working hard enough, wasn't in the weight room enough, wasn't like in the gym. Mm-hmm. And before my dad even got to his phone, I deleted the voicemail. And
Really?
I called Josh. I said, hey, bro, we got to move back to Edmond, or I got to find a spot in Edmond because I can't deal with this. Like, I guess I'm not working hard enough.
Yeah.
And from that point on, like every summer, me and Josh would be like, have a job, lift weights, shoot on a gun. Like I'd be the most in shape person coming back in August. That way I'm ready, like, for my chance if I got one. Mm-hmm. So I always find that funny with Hank that he did that, and it made me a better person. I hated it. I was like, that's embarrassing as heck that I'm not working hard. But then my last year with Hoff, I don't want to say a complete 180 as far as coaching styles, but it was about a 90-degree turn in coaching styles.
Yeah.
Hoff, you need to be smart. You need to know, you need to know the plays. We had 108.
Fat ass playbook.
A huge playbook. We had 108 my senior year.
He recruited me to go to Mercer.
That's right.
And I took an unofficial out there.
Yeah.
Because this was like the year after they beat Duke in the tournament.
Yeah, it was.
And my dad knows Mercer Hoffman from SNU.
Yeah.
So they kind of already had a little bit of a relationship.
Yeah.
But when I pulled up and we're sitting there and he like pulled out the playbook, he was like, I'm gonna have like half of these plays made for you to score the ball.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds fun. Like,
we
grew up drawing up plays and like
on the board.
Like we grew up like coaches' sons. Like, okay, like let's work on this. Like, what if these moved here? Like all the like little angles and stuff. And like you've always been like a guru with like stats, and you would know everybody from every sport, like their stats. And it was crazy to me. Like we'd be sitting there and I'm like watching ESPN and you're just like picking up all these little things.
Watching
like,
the bottom line.
Yeah. Why he watched that. I didn't even know bottom line was a thing at all. I didn't pay attention until maybe a couple years ago.
It
but
was made for people like me to watch that and like.
Coop would like spit out some random stat from like baseball. Like, yeah, this guy, he's batting like 350 right now. He's got 15 home runs on the year, and like I'm like, how do you know all this? Like, why do you pay attention so hard to all these stats? But
honestly, I'm not gonna self-diagnose myself here, but like might have a little ADD from a kid standpoint that I can like watch both, and I'm like getting this information while just the highlights are rolling. So no, I thought that was. I don't even know when the bottom line was introduced because I know it wasn't immediately on ESPN or SportsCenter, but heck, when it was, man, I thought it's always interesting to see those stats, and apparently I can retain them pretty well and recite them. And
you're like kind of a historian in a way of like, you know where the game was, where it's gone. You've seen all like the changes and stuff. Like you actually paid attention to all that, and like I watched the greatness, but even whenever I see you doing the little thing on the phone where you like it gives you like two different teams or like won a championship, and then like with all the guys, you gotta guess like the names.
Yeah,
and he's pulling up names like I didn't even know people were real.
He's talking about what is that?
It's on the little website.
Yeah, hoop
the grid. I'm like, there's no way I could do that.
Yeah,
like my answer would be like 100%. Like. This dude's dropping.
Gotta get the insane pulls.
10%. I would be Googling. Like I would be just cheating the system, but
there's hints now.
I
You
mean,
can use
regardless, like you pull out names out of a hat and you're like, what about this guy? I'm like, didn't he play like football? And you're like, I'm like, I don't get it. You guys on a different level with that stuff. So you graduated and then you went into coaching.
Yeah.
You coached at, was Edmond Memorial first
Yeah,
one?
Edmond Memorial.
And then Berry Hill.
Berry Hill, yeah.
And then
Back at Norman.
Norman
This is
High.
my second year. Just finished my second year at Norman High.
At his alma mater.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. How was that feeling of like going back to
Come back home.
like you was that guy there?
Yeah.
And now you're coaching there.
It's fun. And it's great because the head coach, Corey Cole, was that guy.
He was
as
that guy
well.
too, yeah.
He's on the wall.
Yeah.
Like that guy. They won the state championship. And so it's fun, that dynamic with me and him, just like butting heads on about like players that have come through and like knowing the history of it. It's our baby. We're taking care of it. We want to be in a better spot than it's been. But I mean, the whole coaching staff, like Coach Gibbs, Coach E just left. Like Eve's my dog. But having those guys take care of Norman High has been awesome. Like seeing where it was with myself, like, and the groups after where there wasn't super duper success. And I don't know how it was culturally. Yeah. But, you know, I can attest to the wins and losses that I've seen post 2015. It hasn't been great. Yeah. And until recently. Right. So it's been awesome getting back there and having success. Yeah. Taking it and growing it back to where it should be.
Yeah. I love, like, you know, I got my job. I'm up here hooping. But, you know, hearing about you guys' success, like Norman High, Bethany, just watching you guys coach and help these kids, like, be better basketball players. And I'm already knowing, like, from a culture standpoint, you guys aren't just giving them the X's and the O's. Right. Like, you guys are teaching them to be better, like, young men. Yeah. And I love, you know, supporting you guys. And Norman High has been, like, on the rise as of recent. Yeah. But it's got to feel good being home.
Oh, man, it's good. Being back just around family and friends. And
what would you say is your greatest, like, memory from basketball? Like, there's a lot of experiences to go through, lots of games, lots of players and teammates, coaches.
Just from a non-impactful standpoint outside of basketball, like just talking in the game of basketball, hitting a game-winning shot at Bishop McGinnis over Edmond North. I got like an and one floater from like 15 feet. Yeah. I threw it literally 25 feet in the air.
I remember. It
was
seeing
stupid,
that.
But and that was our first win of the year. So if you can, I don't know if you can remember, but we played 3 games up to that point, and we're already in January. That's the first weekend in January. So there's a snowstorm, huge snowstorm that year. So we played y'all. We played our first game, then we played y'all, and then that was it. Everything else was snowed out. So getting our first win and being 1-2 was great. And then we played Bishop McGinnis the next round, and Tondrell triangle and two'd me. Yeah. But I'm like, Tondrell, please. And then we beat UConn, so we're 2-4. I'm like, man, might be a good year. Yeah. Ended up being 5-21 that year. Yeah. But along with that same year, we had 4 wins going in the playoffs. We're 4-19. We go and upset Edmond Santa Fe.
I remember that.
In the first round of regionals, being, I think they were a 3 seed, and we were the 14, which U.S. Grant and somebody else were worse than us. I don't know how, but we beat them. And I remember you called me on the bus. Yeah. Like, you and Marcus called me. I'm like, oh, no, we beat them. Yeah. You know, and they got Curran, DeQuan, Trey, Evans. Like, it was a good group. Yeah. I think we just jumped on them. I'll say that game against Emporia was a very big core memory for me. And then my senior year, just, I mean, it's hard to say, but just trips, man, taking those trips. Like, I really enjoyed college. Really enjoyed being a college basketball player. I didn't think I'd ever get that experience. Yeah. No matter how much success I had, just thought it was a far-fetched goal. Yeah. Until I started getting, you know, calls and offers about it. But Yeah, I mean, signing day was great. I can't really think of a vivid memory. Like basketball's, it's what I've done like my whole life. So I try not to boil it down to just moments, but obviously there's going to be moments that are huge. So
Knowing you my whole life, pretty much, um, watching you overcome obstacles without making excuses. Obviously, like Jordan was explaining, like you, there's a mental side of it and a physical side of it. Those are the obstacles that you had to overcome. But
yeah.
if you want to explain, how you overcame them and like what were those obstacles?
Yeah. So I was born with, it's called Poland syndrome, like the country Poland. The guy that I guess discovered it or researched it the most, his name was Alfred Poland, so named it for him. Basically, happens between 1 in every 20,000 births, which is, they say rare, but that's not really rare. There's more than that many people born in a day.
Yeah.
So it's basically characterized as like during like the third trimester, there's like a loss of blood flow to the embryo, basically, or the body. And so that causes like stunted growth. And it's characterized by missing one side of your chest. They say the chest wall. So I'm missing my major and minor pec muscles on my left side. You have two muscles there. And my hand is obviously, let's show that. Zoom. My hand is smaller on one side, that's underdeveloped. So, hair growth a little bit different here. Missing a pinky nail. This nail is almost superficial. Like I can rip this nail off any day of the week I'd like to. And then my thumbnails, obviously overgrown. Was born with webbed fingers, so kind of like a frog, skin between each. Had 2 surgeries to fix that. Took skin from my groin and put it there. So obviously from a young age, I had like 3 or 4 surgeries. You're like 2 or 3 years old. I don't recall them. I just see pictures of myself with a cast on my arm. So from a strength standpoint, you really don't notice that as a kid. You're just a weak kid.
Yeah.
It is what it is there. As I got older, I think I got more self-conscious. Probably the first time I noticed it is when I went swimming at Westwood. And I noticed people looking at me like more than normal.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh. And I don't know what, like from that day, I'm probably 7 or 8 years old when I started basketball.
Yeah.
Kind of was self-conscious about like showing my body because I thought I was like, oh, I'm kind of like different. People aren't like they don't see this normally. So playing sports, that was the one thing my dad was worried about, was me getting hit so hard here that it like jars like my heart or something, but never did. But from an emotional standpoint, I think people that are born with this, people that are born with, any abnormality when they're born physically, it's more of a self-conscious or emotional effect.
Yeah.
I've always been very wary about how I look in a shirt, how I feel out of suit, if I feel out of hoodie. It's why I wear hoodies so much. Like, it looks relatively normal. So, battling that has been harder than battling the physical side of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's days where I'm like, man, I wake up and I'm like, I wish my chest would just grow. But I know that's not my reality. I had to work 3 times as hard on weights just to present a normal body more than anything. It wasn't even about being strong for me or like getting up to speed as far as being able to take a bump in basketball. It was always about how I looked in a shirt or how I looked like with my shirt off. Like I've never cared about how strong I was. Like I work out just to like look normal.
Yeah.
Normal. So that's been the hardest battle, is battling like that anxiety that I've built up or walls that I've built up in myself about how I look when people are battling far worse things. There's way worse things than what I have to deal with. So Physically, obviously, gonna have to work harder to, be stronger. Balance some like shoulder instability right now, just because I don't have that chest wall there to help keep it in place. But got to shoot more shots. Got to get more practice shooting a layup with my left hand because it's not as big.
Yeah.
I tell kids that I train all the time. I'm like, hey, my hand's the same size.
Yeah.
And I can shoot a layup. Like, well, you practice. You're big. You're older. I'm like, no, our hands are the same size.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can put the basketball in your hand and it looks the same as mine.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an advantage point there. But obviously, I had to dribble a lot more with my left. I think I'm more comfortable dribbling with my left. As odd as that sounds, like going into a jump shot. And I think more righties are like that. But having to, get to college and then realize like, oh, these are like grown men. Like, I can skate by guys and like take a little bit of like a 17 or 18-year-old person's bump. But you get to college, those guys are 22, 23.
Yeah.
They're strong. You got to be able to fight through a ball screen. And so that like the little muscles started to take like an effect. Like I started to notice like, hey, damn, like you need to be like stronger. And like this might actually affect you a little bit. But, that's why I thought that redshirt year was so beneficial. I'm like, man, I'm lifting 4 times a week. I've never done this in my life. Like, I'm getting stronger. I feel good. I get faster. I'm like, okay, I can flow with these guys a little bit more. So I think it was a lot of that was vindicated when I got to play the next 4 years. But I think honestly the biggest hurdle with this has just been like self-conscious. Like, how are people looking at me? Like, I'm never gonna be in like the ESPN swimsuit magazine or like the body issue for like, how these bodies work, or like not gonna be super sculpted and not gonna be picture perfect for anybody. But it's never been about that. Like, life shouldn't be about that, and that's what I'm overcoming. Is like, nobody's gonna be perfect in their own eyes, so be comfortable in your own skin.
Mm-hmm. Having you as the first guest on the podcast, it's it wasn't even a question.
Yeah.
It was something I had wanted. You're an inspiration to me. Just being together and like knowing like your situation and how you were born.
Yeah.
And just watching you grind your ass off your whole life and not making any excuses, that pushes me every day. Because it makes me not have any excuses to be better than I was yesterday. Yeah. And I really appreciate you a lot. To be able to get to college and hoop at that level and like not just like be there, but like actually be competitive and win basketball games, and like you can shoot the shit out the ball too. And you still can, and like like even going to score and like watching you shoot, I'm like, man, like he's got a beautiful form. Like, yeah, and everything we've been through, like the loyalty award, like like I would give that to you every day too.
Thank you.
Like, you've always been here for me.
Yeah, for sure.
I love you for real.
Love you too, dog.
That concludes the first podcast of Press On. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate all the love and support. I got merchandise coming out, hats, shirts, cutoffs, some summer stuff. So be on the lookout for that. Follow all the links and stay updated. Appreciate you guys.